Okay, so here I have actually, let's see. I have strained the grease, and there is still a little pink in this beef. What you don't want to do is start adding any water to your ground beef if it still has that pink, because what it's going to do is it's going to make it get a rubbery texture, especially since I have it. See how big some of the chunks are, but remember we're cooking chili beans, so that's how I want it. So what I did, I added some salt and pepper because I like to season in layers, and I also added one of these Knorr mini cubes. I used onion and the garlic. I only had one garlic left, so I've already gotten rid of that. So now I'm going to use this 2 Alarm chili mix. It's by Wick Fowler's. They sell for like, I've gotten it as cheap as $1.50 one time on sale, and it goes up to maybe $2.19. But when it's on sale, I go ahead and get a few of them because I make this chili. I even make it in the summertime because I love chili beans, and it's my son's favorite. So we're going to go ahead and follow the directions. And this is what the seasoning look like. You got this chili pepper here. You have red pepper, which I don't use. You have a onion and garlic packet. Paprika. You got cumin and oregano. And you have the masa flour if you want to make it thicker, but I don't use this. So what the recipe says is you use 2 pounds of ground beef. I use 3. You use an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, 2 cups of water and salt. But I usually deviate from any recipe that I use. So I also use diced tomatoes, and this time I have it with green peppers and onions. And I'm going to use a thing of tomato sauce, but I'm also going to use a can of Rotel tomatoes. And my sister told me about doing this, and it really amps up that flavor. So what I did get, I usually do rice and cornbread with my chili beans. Some people say chili, but it has beans, so it's beans and chili. Chili and beans, I guess, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I am going to do that, but I also have some Frito corn chips that I found on sale today. So they can have either or with this. So we're going to start off just... Okay, I'm one who loves chunky tomatoes in my chili, so that's why I like to add the canned chili. And you see, I've drained that grease off because you don't have to have grease in your dishes for them to taste good. I just don't like the grease. I just don't. Okay, so we're going to add our chili pepper. I just use a knife and cut these open. If you like yours hot, you can use that red pepper packet. I usually add a little cayenne pepper. I don't use a little packet because I'd be afraid I'm going to add too much. But really, with this, you don't even need that because with the Rotel, it has a little kick to it. It's the original Rotel. And if you make this according to the recipe and you let it cook and simmer those 30 minutes, it is really, really good. And all you do is just add your ingredients, your tomato sauce, and it says 2 cups of water to go along with the tomato sauce. And I'm going to do that, but I also add my other cans after I mix this with the water. So we're going to start with our tomato sauce. And our 2 cans of water. And y'all, for the longest when I made this, I added 2 cans of tomato sauce as well. And I thought I'd follow the directions. I just like a strong tomato base in my chili. I just really do. We're going to mix this. And once you get this well combined, because it will get kind of cakey with it, because you have a lot of chili powder. Once I got this mixed as good as I like, and see I did leave some chunks, we're going to go ahead and add our Rotel tomatoes. And we're going to add these diced tomatoes. Now these tomatoes that I have here, I got these when they were like 39 or 49 cents a can from some store. Because I know it's something I use all the time, so when I find it cheap, I do get it. Okay, so This needs to simmer, but remember we had a pound more meat than what the recipe calls for. So because we had a pound more meat and we had the potatoes that we had, I think I'm going to go in with a can of beef broth with this. And I'll bring you back. Okay, here's some of the beef broth that I gotten from the Dollar Tree. Shook it up real well. And after watching some of those videos I've seen on TV, I'm going to just take and pour it in here so I can look at it. Have y'all seen those? Those videos where you get to the end of the carton and it's got mold and all that in there? Oh my God. Fix it, Jesus. Okay, so anyway, this is what it looks like. And we're just going to let this cook. We're going to let it simmer for about 30 minutes. And then once it simmers, once it cooks down for 30 minutes, these flavors get to intertwining and talking to each other and doing what they're going to do. It's going to get to a thicker consistency. And then, normally I cook my own camellia beans and add to it, but this time I have 2 cans of the Trappy red kidney beans I'm going to add to this. So I'm going to add those. Those Trappist beans, don't sleep on them, y'all. They're good. I don't even like canned stuff like that. I like to make from scratch. But when I found those, I used to use the ranch style beans, but those are really good. Let's turn this. And we're going to just let that cook, and I'm going to come back and show y'all what I do, and I add my beans to it. You really don't have to add like any more. Well, you know, I added salt to my meat, but you don't really have to add a whole bunch of other seasonings to this. Because it's, I mean, the flavor packet is really, it's spot on. It really is. So, and I guess if you would use that masa, that would make it like have a thicker consistency, almost like the canned chili. I remember when I first went to Grambling, I stayed in a dorm called Wheatley. It was a freshman dorm. And we had a lady there, I guess she was a dorm mom. She would sell chili dogs. Y'all, those were the best chili dogs ever. And I know she had to have used the masa because the consistency of like the liquor was a little thick. I just haven't ever played around with the masa, but I will. But yeah, I just want to share a little tidbit. But anyway, I'll be back. Bye. Okay, y'all. So it's been cooking for a while, and usually when it's really ready, your tomatoes have cooked down a little bit more. This has been cooking, and I didn't set a timer, but it's been cooking for a minute. And so what I'm going to do here now, I did a little taste, and I just didn't feel like it was as flavorful as I like it to be. So I'm going to amp it up a little with, and I'm going to show you. So all I'm going to do is add a little bit more of what we've already put in there. It's the ground cumin, a little onion powder. We didn't put onion powder at first though. Chili powder. And I'm going to also add a little garlic powder and a little accent. Let's go ahead and hit it with the accent first. And just a little. Not a whole lot. And then just some regular, just a little regular salt. And the reason why I'm doing this, we did add water and we did add more meat than what the recipe calls for. So it kind of altered up your recipe a little bit. So before I add the beans, I want to go ahead and get the chili seasoning. You ever had, if I tell you I'm fixing chili beans, I said chili first, so it should be more chili than beans. If I say beans and chili, well, you're going to have a lot of beans and chili. But since I say chili, beans, the first item you see is going to be the most of that item in your dish. So, in other words, if you go to the store and you buy cheese, and if you look at the ingredients and the first ingredient say water, it's not cheese, it's more water than cheese, right? Anyway, here's the chili powder. I'm not measuring. If I had to measure it, I probably would say I'm putting a teaspoon. Onion powder. A little of the ground cumin. And I have oregano, but I'm not sure where it is. So So I'm not going to worry about putting that in there. I could dig for it, but I'm not. I think this is going to be fine. So we're going to put the top back on this. I'm going to let it cook for about another 20 minutes just to simmer. And then I'll go ahead and add my Trappist red beans. I'll let it cook another 30 minutes and it's done. That's why I like to, if I'm going to come home and cook this after work, it cooks longer than what you want something to cook on a work day. So, anyway, I'll be back. So yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to come back on, but I added the 3, and I washed up my thing. I added, it was Trappist kidney beans and chili gravy. I added those 3 cans to it. But they say 15 ounces. That's probably about 3 ounces of cooked beans. Because, you know, a pound of beans would be just about half of this pot. But that's 3 cans. It would be 45 ounces. But look, it's not that many beans in there. But they were in chili gravy, so they ought to amp up the flavor a little. So we're going to just let this cook. And, yeah, this is a 1-pot meal. I may do some rice and cornbread, or I may wait. Well, may wait till after church tomorrow. I'm not really sure, but anyway, this is our chili beans. And I'll come back and let you get a final look. All right.